As his car left for the airport, France's ambassador to Australia pulled over to voice French fury at Canberra for pulling out of the submarine deal.
I think this has been a huge mistake, a very, very bad handling of a partnership, because it was not a contract, it was a partnership. A trust partnership that's supposed to be based on trust, mutual understanding, and also a partnership based, on sincerity.
Hey, Boris.
Good morning from Australia.
But this week it emerged Australia's come to a new understanding with the US and Britain. They're teaming up to mount a challenge to China in the Indo-Pacific. Their pact puts paid to a French deal to supply Australia with diesel-powered submarines in favour of a new arrangement with the US and UK to build a nuclear-fuelled fleet instead. President Macron didn't see this coming down the track. Not only was France not consulted, it only learned of the deal hours before it was announced to the world.
C'est vraiment en bon français un coup dans le dos.
This really is a stab in the back. We built a relationship of trust with Australia, and this trust was betrayed. And I'm really angry and bitter about this breach of contract.
Recalling one ambassador would be serious, recalling two is really unusual. So why has France gone that far?
To call back the ambassadors is quite theatrical. It's a huge diplomatic symbol, but I think that the only thing that France can do actually to make sure that Australia and the United States understand the level of disappointment and betrayal that the French are feeling right now. Of course, it does not mean any kind of cut-off of the diplomatic relations. We keep channels open with the Americans and the Australians. But once again, I think the first sequence is the one in which the French express themselves, and the second one will be a sequence in which the French will negotiate and make sure to move forward, not to lose any more. They lost, once again, the deal of the century. They want to make sure not to lose their other interests.
So it's a kind of bargaining chip or a lever?
What is important, it's what's happening actually in the back scene, and it's going to be the negotiations and the discussion to obtain some maybe compensations or concessions, political and financial, from the US and Australia.
France has not recalled its ambassador to London, though a diplomatic source accused the UK of opportunism. In Paris, Australia and the US are seen as the chief offenders. Both say they'll be reaching out to try to patch things up. The AUKUS agreement is meant to counter a rising challenge in the East. That will be made harder if it also causes a rift in the West.